Boom, baby, we're live. What up, guys? It's me, MLD, Tokyo Crypto Show, episode 171. The one asset we have consistently made fun of literally every episode of season 2, Ethereum, has finally had its day in the sun. We have some real crazy numbers, and if you're looking at the markets right now, it's totally correlated to the bills that just got passed today in the United States of America. It is officially Crypto Week in America, sponsored and hosted by the White House. And there is a lot of money to be made. And we are looking up is going to be happening. We're going to break it down with nothing but math, facts, legislation, and everything, and so much more. But don't forget, next week, the Masculine Empowerment Network 2.0 is completely launching all over again. And this one is invite. If you want to be qualified for it and get that at .com/MLD, all lowercase. Otherwise,
おい、久しぶりだな。急いでるみたいだな。 アメリカでお前を待ってるやつのとこまで帰れると思うなよ。もう終わりにするか。死ねよお前。これか。これか。やばいよお前。やめろから逃がさねえぞ。もう終わりだよ。
You know I usually work alone.
Everyone needs a little help sometimes.
Well, I guess we're even now.
You didn't even tell me you were leaving. You know, America is never going to change. The men are lost. The culture is broken.
I know. And I have to try.
It's gonna cost you a lot of trouble. Stay with me. We can do so much good from here.
I'm sorry. I can't. Gotta go.
Fine. Then I'll come with you.
Let's go. It's time to fight.
Oh yeah. Look at him. The man never rests.
Is he frozen again?
Let's go.
Yep.
Never. We're just working on our
Frozen or
dynamic pauses.
did I froze?
But you're back.
Yeah,
And
shortly.
that's what matters.
I don't know what's going on, guys. My bad. But we're having some serious internet problems out here in the woods.
It's the Gators. It's the Gators.
That's fucking Curtis. That's it. Well, the charts are ready to rock and roll. That said, though, we can get through it. We can get away with anything. We could say anything. Man's glitching out. He can't hear us. Elias, it's time. It's time. Execute Order 66.
La Revolution!
Look at me. I am the crypto now.
Insert the product placements.
Shit. Whip it out. That's right. We've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers that we can now market to shamelessly. It's beautiful. But yeah.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
Well, while John fixes that up, bye, John. He'll be back. We're looking freaking good. New all-time highs. This was crazy. I got the chart here, which I'll bring up in a sec when John gets back. But we had our, like I said a couple of weeks ago, it's either we're going to revisit 100K and then you're a buyer, or we're going to break over 112 and close, and then you're a buyer. And so anyone who did that, they should be very happy right now, because we saw like 112 to 123 in like a matter of 3 or 4 days. Like it just boom, launched up. And, you know, we're just sitting here, we're all chill. We've got some targets that we've hit that indicate now that we are sort of entering, you know, if this was all a movie, we're entering the final act. It's time for Act 3. This is where all the exciting stuff happens. This is where the most amount of money gets made in the shortest amount of time. So it's either right at the end or right at the start. And so things are still heating up and looking good for the Q4 top and everything in that regard. But yeah, we've had some interesting stuff going on with Ethereum jumping in, running through. Elias, you don't seem to think Ethereum's got much legs for the long term, but where are you at now with it?
Yeah, I still don't like it, basically, because the Ethereum Foundation has been selling, and I don't really see a long-term narrative for Ethereum's price to go up. I don't say that its usage and the transaction on Ethereum won't go up, but I don't think that even if all the stable coins of the one big part of the crypto bill that got through the house today or yesterday based on your time zone is basically that it enables, or it makes it a lot easier for US banks to issue their own stablecoins backed by real US dollars or US treasuries. So this basically opens up the market that was split between USDC and USDT for the most part before. And that's my personal perspective, but basically the banks can now roll out their MVP, their minimum viable product, basically like a test product, their own stablecoins on Ethereum, which is the technology most of them use to do their technology tests and their tech demos in the last years on. So I think that's what's going to happen, but I don't know how much the increased usage of stablecoins on Ethereum will actually influence the ETH price.
Yeah,
Because-
so let's kind of look into one layer down, right, guys? Because we're talking about stablecoin usage. Stablecoin usage by whom? You know, is it the internal bank, or is it bank to bank, by institutions or by consumers? Because kind of like we were talking before the show, that it's not really realistic that individuals are going to use Ethereum to transfer stablecoin, because as the volume kind of clogs up the pipeline, the gas fee just goes up exponentially, right?
Yeah.
So you're using $25, $30, move a couple of $1,000s worth of ETH. That's just not, sustainable for individuals. But I guess when you're moving, $500,000, $10 million on the back end between interbank or between institutions, paying a couple $100, to them it's nothing.
Yeah, that's like cheaper than the conventional way of doing it. Yeah,
and one of the big thing that ETH offers over something like a Solana or Sui is that they do have a proven track record of reliability and security compared to Solana or Sui or Aave or any of these chains, right? I guess the only other thing is Cardano, but Cardano has its own issue, and it's not really that friendly to use compared to even ETH. So I guess, like you were saying, Elias, that they went with ETH because that's what they saw a couple of cycles ago, and that's what they might be start to use in the background for their interbank or intrabank transactions.
Yep.
yeah. But you say that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go on.
Yeah, my TLDR is basically they'll use ETH now to get everything going, get the ball rolling, and they'll push out their own stablecoins, which will have a short to midterm positive price impact on ETH.
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll move to their own ledger to a second layer, whatever they roll out. Basically, that is best for them from a cost effectiveness perspective and from a compliance perspective, and which most likely will be something more centralized and something that is extremely cheap and fast. Because if you actually look at the countries that are like the prime demographic for using stablecoins, those are countries like Nigeria, where people have broad internet access, where people have phones, but they have a hard time to actually get banking access. And the local currency is inflating like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the best countries to roll out stablecoins that are USD
Interesting.
based.
Yeah,
And
a lot
I
of
think,
African countries and such. Yeah.
yep, I think once banks have proven that the stablecoin product is actually profitable for them, they will find a solution like their own, basically their own blockchain or their own centralized systems that mimics a blockchain to the outside or can be advertised in the same way. And once this layer is supported in the actual wallets or via apps that the people that use stablecoins can download on their phone and use easily, then they will switch from ETH to whatever the new technology is. And that's the point where whatever positive price impact ETH has seen due to the stablecoin adoption from banks is going to fade. But that's
Mm-hmm.
just my personal opinion.
So it's almost like the whole Windows versus Mac, or is it iOS versus Android debate, right? Almost.
Mac,
I think
absolutely.
it's gonna come. Yeah, it's gonna come down to ETH versus Solana debate. But you're kind of right, because J.P. Morgan actually a while back they started their own stablecoin, which is I think based on ETH or some. It's not really they're using the one of these layer ones, but it is a derivative of it. So they're not really using the ETH, but they're using ETH architecture.
Mm. But that said, on the whole, it's still underperformed pretty badly over the course of the
Yeah.
market. Like we're above 3,000, which is great, but ideally we want to be far closer to 5. Because even though Solana's dipped down and now is sitting at 160, 170 region, Solana has 8+% inflation, whereas Ethereum's had like essentially zero. So when you look at the lack of supply increase, and that's 8% per year, whereas Ethereum's like 0% on year. Ethereum should be, if it was going to keep going, it should keep going. So if you bought it a couple of weeks ago at 2.5 grand, and now you're looking at 3,300, you're going, oh, nice. That's great. That's a nice increase. But how far do we think it's going to go from here? So currently, 3,300. Is it going to get to 10K? Is it going to hit, the 12K targets that people had back in 2021? I'm not so sure, because I don't see like $800 billion flying into it. But what do you guys think?
If you have it, don't sell it.
Hmm.
But if you want to buy it, I'll be 50-50 on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought on it.
Well, for
I'm
the
very neutral, on it.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know. We have a thunderstorm over here too. It's God knows something gonna bite. Anyways, go ahead, Alex. There's the charts for you, pal.
nice. Woo. So jumping on in, here's the monthly. So we're starting zooming out, and we're kind of zoom our way in as we go through to kind of tell the tale. So as I mentioned before, we're sort of in the final act of the movie now. We have gone above this line here, and as we can see, I've sort of noticed a bit of a pattern that as soon as we breach above and close above, end of the market's a month or two away. So, or at least, the top of a weekly cycle followed by a 30% plus correction. So, with that in mind, because I'm of the view that the next peak will be the last one we get, that's why I go we're at the end game. Now, if it was to move into next year, well, then you might get one more. But at this stage, we're just taking it day by day, level by level. So, here, if we close up over here, we're getting kind of overheated, we're getting kind of cooked. Now, typically the market 4-year cycle stuff kind of has a bit of symmetry to it, where the amount of days from the low to the halving is similar to the amount of days from the halving to the next top. And so if we were to just go from the low to the halving. So that's about the 20th of April. That's about 490 days. And so if we extrapolate that forward, that gets us to the end of August. Now, at this stage, it doesn't look like we're gonna, it's all over Rover. So we'll take that with a bit of grain of salt. But it does tell us that we're probably going to be closer to August than we are going to be to January, say. So somewhere around September, October, maybe November. So we're watching closely now. And I've now got my reasonable case at about 125 to 138. I now call it the chill case. This would be nice and relaxed. This would be nothing crazy is going on. Obviously, people will be talking about it, but I think this is a very reasonable area for us to get to. We could easily hop up here, though, if things get really, 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 really frothy. So we shall see. Jumping ahead, daily chart. So, like I said, 100K, you're a buyer, or above 112, you're a buyer. And whoo, it didn't take very long. We've broken out. 60-day cycle is doing whatever the fuck it's doing here. We had a failed cycle, but then it goes, haha, just kidding. It was a bear trap, and off we go. So here we go. Now that we're trending, we want to see that pattern sort of reestablish itself. So we want to get some sort of high, some sort of big low, a revisit here. Then we can start using that 60-day, day 15, day 30, day 45 kind of metric again. I think it'll come into play towards the end because to get the top, we would be trending again. This blue is the last weekly cycle of the daily. So as we can see, despite this massive outperformance we had early on, it's now caught up. So this should tell us that despite, the excitement of getting all the way up to, 123 region here, 123, 140, it's all very much on schedule. This is very much a normal amount of price action. We are expecting the last weekly cycle to be extra punchy, which is why getting above the 130, 134 region would be totally chill. Because at the end of the cycle, that's when everything is the most crazy. And we've started to see a little bit of retail whispering around, but really, this is all mostly just ETFs. This is all old people money that they're now reallocating from wherever it's been into crypto because now their financial advisors can tell them, buy crypto, buy crypto, buy crypto. And the financial people, they're getting commissions on that and they're making lots and lots and lots. So they're having a good time. Everyone's having a good time. More money's pushing into crypto. Might come back to this at the end. Total crypto market cap, breaking out, that's great. But in about a year, like all the way back here, or even we just go to August, we have literally doubled and some in less than a year. That's kind of crazy. The entirety of crypto has doubled in the amount of money in the system. So we'll see what the next couple of months will bring, but it's looking like up, which is very nice. So Ethereum, hello. We were dicking around here for a while. We broke down again, but not really that deep. Sort of if you have the support here, we kind of went and just revisited that. That's totally normal. The more charts that you look at, the more you watch this show and see us talking about charts, you will just continuously see a breakout and then a revisit of a previous sort of top or support or resistance. So totally normal, totally chill. But then, we broke out again. So that's looking really good for Ethereum. That's good. It now wants to keep going. It'll stop eventually, maybe here, maybe up here at 3,500, because that's where a bit of resistance kicks in. And then it should come back down a little bit, then continue on. But Ethereum now, it's sort of had its nice sail here, but now we've got resistance here, we've got resistance here, we've got resistance here. So there's quite a bit of work for it to do technically to keep moving up, but it could easily do. As we look with Bitcoin, finally, after the joke, the absolute hilarious, Netflix special, 5-hour special every fucking week, how it just kept breaking lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Now it's gone up, gone sideways to consolidate for a bit of time, come back down to test a previous top. Great. And now we've broken out. Beautiful. So this is looking like it's starting to turn and move up versus Bitcoin. But once again, we've got quite a bit of resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. So if you were in it earlier, here, boom, like here would have been, a bit too risky to jump in really, because it could easily have just shat the bed. So say, I'm feeling really good about it. I got in here and you've made, versus Bitcoin, you've made a nice, 10%. Cool. But, it remains to be seen. Will we get that continuous follow through? John has some great info on the ETFs, which we'll talk about a bit later. So yes, but basically there's a lot of activity happening ETF wise, institution wise, but not really people using the chain wise. James mentioned the high fees. I mean, last market cycle, we had $450 to $600 USD per transaction fee on Ethereum at certain times, which was just insane, like unusable. So we shall see how we go with that. Solana, finally, look at this. We love this. We're breaking out. We broke down, or we had this sort of resistance, this line here. We sort of failing to kind of push above, and now we have begun the process. So that's really encouraging. We'll keep keep tabs on it. Here we are moving around. Bitcoin versus Solana, we did dip a little bit lower. However, this is positive. Great. But we really want to see a recapture of this zone before we go bananas. So if anyone out there is hoping for $1,000 Solana, well, we got a lot of work to do first. This could simply be double bottom and we break this. And if that's the case, then I would just be like, holy shit, Solana's going to fucking blow. But at this stage, it could just turn around and keep going lower. It might not really meaningfully outpace Bitcoin and just kind of dick around here. We shall see. But at the moment, if you have Solana, don't just jump ship. Same with many positions. Because we're kind of getting to the end game, this is not the time to be like jumping in and out of stuff. You'll also have like tax implications as we jump in and out towards the end. So if you've been holding it for over a year and you get some sort of discount that some people do, maybe just, we're only a couple of months away. So don't go too crazy. If we look at Ethereum Solana, this was, it cost 27 Solana for one Ethereum back here, roughly a year ago. So it was the better bet holding Solana, and it still is. There is a lot of resistance here, but we'll see. Maybe we come up and, this would be logical if Ethereum continued to outpace for a little bit. But, we had a nice breakout here. But in terms of any meaningful things, it's not like if we were all the way up here with some sort of crazy breakout, then you might go, oh, maybe maybe it's a good time to be swapping some Ethereum, some Solana for Ethereum. But we're not. We're all the way down here. We're at the end of the game. Now's not the time to chop yourself out by trying to like run around and catch an extra 5 or 6, 7% on a bag that should have already gone up by multiples. So last quarter is about sticking the landing. Bitcoin dominance. This looks like a big drop. I was like, holy shit, but I realized I'm just zoomed in a lot because this is actually like a 2.3%. But that does allow for a meaningful run in the alts. I wouldn't call an alt season unless we decisively break and close below here. If that happens, then holy shit, we're off.
If you just go back to December, you could see where we actually had probably the best alt season with the dominance dropping right there.
Yeah, bang. So we had this period here where it dropped, 11 and a half, nearly 12%. So we want to see some sort of technical breakdown. But so far, we are getting higher highs, higher lows. So if this is just a higher low and it keeps going up, expect everyone else to hurt badly or, $1 trillion to magically appear on Bitcoin's balance sheet. So a breakdown here would be great, but we really want to lose the 200-day moving average on this. Just start to see some sort of reliable, regular indicators that the chart is weak. Because currently, whilst we have this, this is just the daily chart. So whilst we have weakness, obviously, we got a big ass candle here, little Darth Vader stubby candle. It's still a higher low and it's still a higher high. So the chart is still up. So you don't want to be betting against the up chart too much. So I know some people are getting excited saying alt season. I would love that, but it's not definitive by any stretch of the imagination. We need to see more shitting of the bed. We've got 1, 2, 3 weeks down, and 3 weeks down is a totally normal reaction. Usually charts will move up 4 weeks, down 3 weeks, vice versa. Up 7 weeks, down 3 weeks or 2. So 2 or 3 is totally normal. This is not the harbinger of all death and demise for Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance could easily just reverse next week and keep moving up. So keep your eye out. Some memes have been popping off, but really we shouldn't be being too excited about all of that that sort of sector of speculation happening because Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend. So we've got Solana back at 170, which is good. We've got Ethereum, which has made a good breakout here. However, it's hitting resistance. So don't expect it to just fly to $4,000 in the next week. That would be a bit less likely than not, but it is still positive for Ethereum. Ethereum is outpacing Solana in the short term. So keep that in mind. But at the moment, it's not worth dumping your Solana bag at all to swap across. Do not recommend doing that. And the total crypto market cap is looking keen to break out. we're up here. We haven't closed above, but this is looking beautiful. High highs, high lows. So if the total
Alex,
crypto market cap goes up, life's good. Yes, John.
I don't know how fast you could pull it up, but can you pull up the altcoin chart that's been consolidating that has been going
Yeah,
viral?
what's it?
You know,
Is it just alt dominance, alt D,
I think it's alt D, and it's like it's either
or
3
is
or
it
6 month chart because it's just like
total
so.
excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Yeah, I
That
believe
still
so.
includes Solana, but this looks quite similar
If you
in
go to
terms
like
of,
I think it's the 3 month or the 6 month.
let's see,
Let me see. I'll try to pull up on my back end too. This is really important to see the guys.
Yeah, I saw that go posted the other day. I mean, here everyone can come up with all sorts of things. It's a cup and handle. We're looking for the handle, but you can just see we're going up. We're making high highs. We're making high lows. Now, if we broke below, that'd be bad, but we didn't. This is 6 monthly as well, so this is like really large, chunky time frames. So here we had up. We have 1 month down, and now we've got 1 month up again. So, well, this is 3 months. 1 quarter down, 1 quarter up. You can see we usually get 2 quarters up. This is kind of 3 quarters because it didn't break down. So 3 quarters up, 1 quarter down, 2 quarters up, 1 down, 1 quarter up. That wouldn't be far fetched. Everything's looking at the moment like it just wants to continue up to the end of the year.
Yeah,
So
that's the one that I
with
said
that
the
in
3
mind,
months. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's what we're looking forward to, basically.
Phenomenal news. So yeah, I don't. This just hit our net. This is a gentleman from our research team. This just hit our desk. I don't know. I haven't actually found the actual source yet, but I'm going to be talking about this because I want to. Because Alex just said it can't go to 4,000, but I think if we, because you remember, this is how I play things, guys. I just watch what BlackRock does, and then I watch what the White House does, and then you have to like fundamentally put these pieces together. Um, Alex, me and Alex were talking behind the scenes when he was saying this is a failed cycle in regards to July, and I was like, I wholeheartedly disagree because I believe in corruption of politicians and corruption of BlackRock, and I said we have crypto. It's officially right now. It is crypto week in the United States of America, starting July 14th to July 18th, right? So what this is the White House is the first time they're ever sponsoring this stuff. And if you look at the wick last week on Bitcoin, it just jumped up. It was like a monumental, obviously manipulation wick. So I believe that we were going to have a really good July, and here we are. A couple other factors, but I'm going to listen, guys. I have found and this is why it's really important to have multiple avenues of checking where you believe something is happening in cryptocurrency, because I'm about to show you guys. I have found breaking news. I have found data on the Kaito AI that I paid for, Ethereum inflows, and a lot of other news that shows something is certainly happening right now. And I think with these information that all these laws just passed, something is certainly brewing, and I'm going to bring that up. But I think we're going to go to Elias next. Is that what we're going to do? Sorry, I was away trying to fix my internet.
Yeah, so basically, I'd start with the Bitcoin chart too, just for some Bitcoin health to not break the topic sequence from Alex. And I'm basically telling you the same story in a different dialect. So this is just the overview since January 2015. And if we also count the timeframes from the low in 2015 to the next top, we get to 1065 days. And then we get exactly, so this differs a little bit, but more or less exactly 1 year or 365 days of bear market from the top to the bottom. And then we get 1066 days bull market, more or less. And then we get again exactly 1 year of bear market. So this is a repeating pattern, and if we go back, we see it breaks a bit the pattern if you go earlier than 2015, but it's more or less the same thing. And if we extrapolate this pattern, so basically we see what would happen if the trend or the pattern here continues, we'd get to the to October 2025, so this October, for the next all-time high, after which the next bear market would start. And if we do the same trend continuation for the price, based on our calculation, and this chart hasn't changed in about the last 2 years, we'd get to around 170k, 173k, which would be the bullish case Alex has just presented. So this is the case I'm calculating with for the business side of things, just to be sure. I'm personally of the opinion we could go higher if we see higher adoption or inflows from institutions, but I'm pretty much calculating with this regarding the price, and I'm pretty certain that we won't see a change in basically in the cycles, that we won't see a change in when the bear market will start. Because if there's ETF buyers, those could also be taking profit. So before someone can prove that ETF holders won't sell, which will push down the Bitcoin price, I won't really take this as an argument for what I personally do. But the bigger Bitcoin gets, the harder it is to move. So if we apply the trend continuation also to how much percent will drop in the next bear market, and this is just smooth brain math, there's nothing complicated here, we'd get to a low of about 100k, which would happen if everything continues in the 4-year cycles in October 2026. So this also sounds pretty good, and opens up possibilities like if you bought below 100k and we see this repeating and the support for Bitcoin is strong with the institutions, it might be a possibility that you just don't sell your Bitcoin and start borrowing against it if you want to pull out money, which is quite a nice strategy in most countries to save a lot on taxes. And then we can see where we go in the next bull market starting in end of year 2026, if everything continues. Apart from this, I just have basically 3 small points that get more and more important the nearer we get to the top. The first one is, in case you do everything officially with your crypto and investments, and you don't have a fully KYC, so this is identity verification, I know your customer procedures. If you don't have a fully KYC account on any bigger exchange yet, my personal advice would be to do a full KYC on at least 2 exchanges, especially if you have higher amounts of money floating around in crypto, so that when the day comes that you actually want to sell, you can deposit to these exchanges and click the button without having to wait 1 or 2 months to get through some compliance questions from support that froze your account. This is basically the one point. And the second 2 points would be to, as cringe as it sounds, but to pull up ChatGPT, give ChatGPT the rough info of what location you are in, which tax jurisdiction, and which currencies you hold, and with your personal goal or where you think the bull market would end, or your scenarios where you would sell based on your trading plan. Let's say you want to sell at 150k, ask it what might be good tax optimization strategies for selling, and just what would be obvious pitfalls that you could avoid by researching a bit. And of course, if you have a lot of money in there, follow it up with an actual tax advisor. But just to get started, ChatGPT is a good point. And the second thing would be, if you hold your funds on an actual exchange and you've done your KYC, to ask ChatGPT what a stop loss is, if you've never heard about it. Because if we go above 150k and you're unsure, if you're at 155k, at 160k, and you're like, okay, I don't want to sell below 150k, but you also think there's a possibility to get to 170k, you could use something like a stop loss and put it at 150k, and then you go to bed and sleep well, because you know if you drop down, you'll sell at around 150K, make your profit, do a nice exit, and decide the next day. Or if we pump up to 170K, you wake up, you're happy, and you can sell at a better price. And you don't have the situation where you go to bed and maybe miss that the whole market is dumping, which could happen with Bitcoin and with crypto within a few hours. And then all your profit is gone. So basically, those are the 3 points. Check if you have done your KYC so that you actually have the ability to sell. Check if there's any tax optimization stuff you can do. And also get educated on what stop loss is. And that's basically it.
Great
So-
stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, man. Guys, I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, you really don't understand like how good of a show we're really putting on. Like we are giving you guys data upon data upon data, and this is really bulletproof. So I want to. So Marion says, "Remember 3 months ago in April when you said we were cooked? There's no narrative to continue the bull market." I do, because Alex was making fun of me about that last week when I called him out. I said, "Hey, what nice failed cycles?" Like, okay, Mister, the bull market's over in Q1. Hey, listen, you guys are crazy to fucking watch me, first of all, but with my craziness comes a little bit of genius. And listen, I'm not going to try and backtrack anything. I was wrong. I thought it was all over. And I will say, though, it has been, in my opinion, and I think the team can agree with me, it was way easier to make money in 2024, especially on Solana, than it has been 2025. 2025 has been, in my opinion, a lot harder to really finalize income into your account. 2024 was like fucking, I mean, I disappeared for 6 months for a reason, guy. Like I went to Hawaii 4 times in 2024 for a reason, guys. You know? So but then bad things happened thanks to President Trump. But at least we're gonna get the Epstein list. But anyways, that's a whole other can of worms open. Speaking of can of worms, Steven is popping in. He's on the road coming from a conference, but he's gonna give us a quick update on TradFi markets, and then he's gonna peace out. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so for the first time, ADP jobs just posted negative growth in June. We have to have rate cuts in September, otherwise this thing is screwed. Sadly for the Federal Reserve, inflation's actually ticked up for the past 2 or 3 months in a row. We posted 2.7%, up from 2.5%, so they're not going to move in July. Way too risky for them. There's too much like internal pressure from the other members on Powell to cut in July, so we're going to be missing on that. There possible potential volatility there. Very, very, very good news is that despite Trump on the tariffs now raising the base tariff rate from potentially 10 to 20%, the market just continues to rally and rally. So it looks like on a psychological basis, the fears over tariffs have now been completely eradicated. So the only thing left to monitor now is what is the Fed going to do? What is the economy doing? Sadly, we could already be at that point where jobs are turning over, but I suspect that if they cut in September and November, they'll be acting in time, and the market will also soar on this news as well. That is my main update for today.
You're the man, Steve. Thanks for popping in. Go do your thing,
Thanks,
buddy. You look great. You look like $1 million. Actually, 2, right? 3, 4, 5, 10.
Yeah, I'm probably worth about 2.7 now. Catch you then, guys. Peace
Don't
out.
say that on the air. Get off. Fine. He's lying, guys. He's making those numbers up. He's a total liar. He's making that up. Steve's brokey. This fucking kid, bro.
That's why it's dark in the car.
I love Steve. He came hung out with me this last week. He was here in the woods.
Cool guy.
Steve's lying, guys. All right. Anyways, just the other side should charge Steve more. So okay. So here's the thing. That's what's happening with TradFi too. So anyways, real quick to my Romanian friend. Yes, I did crash out, but look who's here looking for alpha in the chat. You're still here, huh? So who's the bigger idiot? The idiot, or the idiot following the idiot, right? Anyways, James is going to talk right now. James is going to be talking about this. And James, I got to say, man, James, without you, we would never have been looking at the global liquidity, man. And that chart is like eerily almost a fucking 1-to-1. And it's like, holy cow, man. Just wild. This is crazy.
All right, so let me share my screen real quick. Just something here. I can see. Share screen.
And if you
Okay.
guys got chats you want to throw in, I'm telling you, if you want to ask questions, this like is the episode. So send your super chats in, get them in.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, it's glitching out on my back end here. Oh, I gotta remove Elias. There we go. Okay, cool. Elias, just cancel your change screen. Just press the little X, buddy.
Okay, this is a total crypto market cap. Get rid of some of these indicators here. Weekly total crypto market cap compared to global liquidity and the momentum indicator MACD. As we saw here, we had our first upcycle or uptrend. Then we kind of consolidated sideways for about 6 to 7 months, right? That's this cycle here.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had our second up move around the election day or election month. Then we kind of jumped up. Then we consolidated for another 6 to 7 months. Kind of funny, right? So now we're getting into third cycle, right? Like Alex said earlier, typical, bull cycle lasts somewhere between 3 to 5 cycles. So now we're in the third cycle. We're gonna say, hey, start looking to cash out, right? Because the cycle is kind of getting long in the tooth here. But are we sure that it's gonna end after 3 cycles? No. But again, 3 to 5, right? So if you're looking to cash out, start cashing out, or start looking for exit. And Elias said, start looking at your tax consideration. That remember, Uncle Sam always gets his pound of flesh. That either you're gonna have to pay short-term capital gains tax, which is based on your income bracket, or you're gonna have to pay long-term capital gains tax if you held for more than 12 months, and that's gonna be around between 15 to 20% of your gains, right? And here is the total crypto market cap compared to global liquidity. As we saw, it's about 3 months lagging. Global liquidity is still going up. China injected around $400 billion last week. So it's still going up. And as we know that US still have not cut. But just remember what's on the docket here, guys. The Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed. And that's going to add more to the deficit, which means they're going to have to print more money. There's still refinancing of the federal debt that was based on the 2 years or 4 years during the Biden admin. Then, as well as still, there have to be a rate cut, and they have to turn the money printer, which means this global liquidity chart will just keep going up and up and up, and we'll start seeing the total crypto market cap go along with it, lagging by about 3 months. So are we done with the cycle yet? I don't think so, but it is getting there, like Alex said, right? So start looking or start planning for your exit and start looking to start using stop loss or trailing stops to start cashing out and start taking some chips off the table. What happened? They went offline?
No. It's just when you stop sharing, John's got to push another button.
Okay.
You're good. That was interesting when what's it called? Like
Yeah,
the
you
interest
said
rate
yeah, it's a third cycle up, right? So I think we're more than halfway over, about 2/3 over with this full cycle.
And so it's a matter
So
of if it goes again, well, we can expect another 30% decline, can't we? Anyway.
yeah, because you're right, about 30% pullback every time, right? Except for Bitcoin, it seemed to be pretty strong. I think because of the treasury company demand and the ETF demand. So I guess what we're saying here is that start being a little bit more cautious as the I know it's kind of counterintuitive, right? As the price moves up, you're gonna have to being more cautious.
Yeah, or it's just because we're at the end game. Like if we were at the beginning of the market and things are
Mhm.
moving, oh, these look good. Yeah, time to buy these ones. But now that we're,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not
Bitcoin hitting
sure this
all-time highs,
like,
fucking go for it. But
yeah, but I'm not sure if this is this coming cycle is the life cycle, but I think it's gonna be, if not the last, next to the last.
yeah. Because we have peaked in January before, I believe, one of the cycles. But it was like the first or second week. It was before the 11th or something of January. So we've never really pushed meaningfully into the following year. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think because Steve mentioned he doesn't. We've got to cut rates in September or we're screwed. I think that we're probably screwed, and they won't cut.
Oh,
And
you think they want to crash it?
then we'll have like another month where everything's already fucked, but like we're like those cartoon characters who've walked off the cliff, like because no one's realized, no one falls down, and so a month or so later, because I mean, look, the 5 year is supposed to be the year of ascension, and I was saying that at the start of the year. Where's my fucking year of ascension when it was going down? And here we go, we're going, baby, up we go. So
Well,
you
even
know,
when the mainstream media and other channels have been telling people that, hey, job market is strong, economy is strong, we've been saying that job market is weak for a year now, right?
yeah,
And that was all kind of during the last year of Biden administration. It was all just kind of padded number by the government jobs and the local jobs, right? And temporary fucking employment. So now the water is kind of tide is going out, and we're kind of beginning to see the kind of more or a little bit more transparent look into the job market, where private jobs that are paying high salaries are kind of laying people off by thousands, especially in the tech sector, and they're getting job at Subway. So I mean, come on.
The CFO is now working at Chipotle, and they're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
a job.
yeah. It's not 1-to-1, guys. It's called the underemployment, and the job number typically Fed publishes do not include underemployment.
Exactly.
And it's also like a really nice narrative from the government's perspective, regardless of which party, because now they have framed Powell, so the Fed chair, to be the bad guy that fucked everything up for, I don't know, half a year now, because he didn't raise the rates, and raising rates is long-term negative for the dollar because of inflation and everything. So whatever they're doing with the quantitative easing, basically there has to be a drop. But if they time the drop right with Powell, and of course this is going into conspiracy theory levels, but just from a PR and framing perspective, it makes sense. They frame everything, the economy does its job, and then they just
Well,
go for the rate.
even if Trump does not fire Powell, his term is up next year. Next spring, he's up, right? So unless he's going to get on board with the Trump train, I don't think he's going to be renominated. And the leading name that's been floated, it's a Scott Bessent, who's the Secretary of Treasury, that he might be, moving over there, or maybe he might be taking on two different roles at the same time. But he's 100% on board Trump train. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of time that we're going to get rate cuts.
I also heard there's a rumor that it might be Janet Yellen.
Grandma Yellen, they're going to bring her back?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, she's got the proper qualifications.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So either ways, we're kind of getting long in the tooth, guys. So really start looking for exits, start doing your, planning of getting the chips off the table, and start looking at how much you're going to owe Uncle Sam on the taxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't just sell everything and go buy Lambo. Then when the IRS come knocking, that's a really bad look.
You can outrun them in the Lambo, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Great stuff. James, did you touch on the Bitcoin Treasury being started by Scott Lee?
So yeah, that's the other
Ethereum,
thing, right?
Ethereum.
One of the things that to continue, and we've been saying in previous upviews show, is that not every L1s or the coins are going to pump, even if there's an alt season, right? And we said follow the treasury companies and follow the ETFs. And there's more treasury companies coming online every day. And there are companies now that are kind of in a legacy business. They're kind of pivoting to crypto treasury company, right? Now, so we're kind of seeing that, late 99, late to 2014, whatever, the end of last cycle, where the Long Island Iced Tea Company changed their name to Long Island Blockchain Company, and their stock, tripled in one day. We're kind of getting into that category, which is another indicator that the market is going to get superheated here very soon.
Yeah, I met these two guys, the Mexican guys at Bitcoin 2025. I told this to the research group, and they were like, "Sí, tú quieres dinero y tienes Bitcoin, we can get it for you." I was like, "Okay, like so if I have Bitcoin, you can get me cash." I'm like, "How would you get it?" It's like, "We're gonna give you an American Express card with somebody's name on it." I was like,
Were
okay.
they Mexican guys, or John? Were they Mexican guys?
They were working for somebody who has a lot of power in Mexico. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Elias. And I want to shotgun through this before my fucking internet shits again.
Okay, I just have a really short point, which is also a pitfall before we go out of the charting stuff. Basically, we are all looking at the logarithmic chart of Bitcoin because it's so volatile and going up so much. And maybe Alex can share his screen to really show you what logarithmic versus the normal chart is, what the normal stock market is using usually. And so if we get just a trend continuation bear market, this would basically mean minus 58%, just if everything continues like it did the last years. So you'll lose about 60% of your money if you don't get out or find some exit. And the logarithmic chart really gives you a false sense of security because it looks so like, a small dip, a small green candle, but actually it's like huge percentages. And if you're looking at the profit you're taking at the end, this could be the end for you. So this what Alex is showing is the logarithmic chart right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you're like, oh yeah, looks
you'll
nice and
see.
positive. Looks nice and positive. But if you take it off logarithmic, like this is
Oh
the
wow,
first like decade of history is just nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
And then boom.
So
Like yeah.
that's just
So
one thing that
go ahead. Sorry.
you might want to keep in mind. And
Yeah.
if you're using TradingView, you can just click on this like 6-edged symbol at the bottom right, and you can switch between logarithmic and regular chart, just to not get a false sense of security when you're actually deciding if you want to exit that day or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Because even like, oh, we'll just revisit previous tops here. That's 42% drop. You're like, oh shit, that looks just like a regular kind of pattern there. So yeah, that's important to keep in mind.
Good stuff, man. All right, guys. So here's what I'm going to talk about. You guys know I'm basically a fundamental guy, and I'm really good at memes. So talk about what exactly is happening right now. So I'm just going to go down to the most important metric that has blown my mind. We're going to talk about BlackRock and the name of their ETF. Okay, that's the ETHA. ETH.
He froze. Cliffhanger.
It's just a pregnant pause, guys. It's a classical acting term that we all know here. Well, while that gets sorted out, I just want to I was writing in our little private chat here, but just like Elias, you're like the absolute G today. Absolutely everything you've said. Like everyone, KYC, like have an off ramp, like get your plan worked out, because a lot of people, they just don't have a plan, and they'll just. And especially what you said about like putting a stop loss in when you're happy at your number. If you think it's going to keep going up, you can just have that stop loss and then you're fine. because plenty of people went, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's great, and then Luna, and it like dropped 100% or 99% in like a day, and then it dropped 99% again the following day, and that was
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, the other thing is that you don't have to get out all at once, guys. Sell, half or quarter or whatever you think it's worth. Take some chips off the table this first peak, then you can ride the rest of it if there's second run up, right? So don't think of it as all or nothing. You can always kind of, DCA out as well as DCA in.
Yeah,
That's
and then there's like the trading plan. Like if you've already won, just take the win. You don't have to. Oh, let's push it. Let's push it. Let's push it.
Yeah, again, goes back to my rant about trading plan every month, right?
Yeah,
it's like James is the chat meme. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
yeah,
Same. Nothing changed.
same shit. Yeah, and that's all about just not getting chopped out. We've been having some pretty big jumps up, which is a bit different than just like the sort of the noise that happens. But yeah, like
There's
we're still.
pardon.
It's I think it's more to do with the institutions jumping in, which I was, I read a lot of the trading psychology and high frequency trading stuff in the background. Is that as the more institutions jumping in and more quant and algos jump in, there will be more defined supports and resistance, but the volatility will go up because they're kind of jumping in and out every millisecond, right?
Yeah.
So, and they tend to kind of do the same thing because everybody works for, the industry is so incestuous that you work for one company, then go to next company and using kind of similar algorithm. So, the not only the value discovery and the support and resistance be more solid or more defined as institutions and the Argos jump in, but the volatility will swing greater. And that's what I think we're seeing this cycle is that, hey, it's really the consolidation phase is longer, but when it jumps, it really jumps.
Yeah. And that's also important for us. Like you got to take a longer term trading on it because they're.
Yeah. You can never win against computers on the short term, right?
Yeah.
It's just that you got to play different game, guys. You got to play different game because you can never win against these high frequency traders and quant in the short term. So you have to have a longer holding period, longer horizons, and you got to play the different game.
And there's also some to touch on this again. What Alex said before with the DCA out. There's actually some statistics done on crypto retail and which of those are profitable based on Bitcoin wallet movements. And the most profitable group in all of them is more or less those that do one big purchase of, in this case, Bitcoin during the bear market, which is more or less, it doesn't really matter if you hit the exact bottom, but they hit the right year. That's basically the timing perspective. And then they just go and have a life for 2 to 3 years, and then they start selling over the 1 year where we really have the bull market. And they just sell a bit every day, DCA out basically. And this is the if you don't get lucky or if you don't have some really good alpha or some other plan or do it professionally, this is one of the lowest effort, highest return strategies from a time invested perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could have been in at $15,000 Bitcoin, 15,600 on the minute, but you could have been in at 30,000 or 40,000. You're still, 200% up. Like where are you getting that in a regular, fund or anything like that? And like, what did you have to do? Just click and go live your life, come back, click, done. Beautiful, lovely. So yeah, sometimes don't over engineer the whole thing, especially if there's a lot of people who watch who have like a full-time job, and it's like I wouldn't recommend trying to trade. Like, why would you try? I'll do this. It's like because you're just not going to be sitting down when the chart does something. Like a lot of the time, I'm sitting here looking at it and nothing happens, and then something happens because I happen to be here now. I have a profitable trade. Otherwise, nothing. It would have been a nothing burg. You just It's got to be.
like keeping it simple, you start your trading journey with the candlesticks and trend lines. Then you go into all different hundreds of indicators, and when you finally figure it out, you come back to candlestick and trend lines.
And that's it. I still like my GAN fans. It does look hectic because they have like 8 lines on one fan, but I promise you, it's just one. It's just one thing. It's not a million things. I promise.
It's funny.
Oh.
It's funny.
I see a couple of people with the super chats. Just super quick. So, Mark, if Bitcoin dominance slows, is it bad to hold? Not necessarily, because Bitcoin can just be moving up and everything else is exploding up as well. So the ratio stays kind of the same or starts to slow down. It's really when you have this like massive drop, because we're thinking this could be the last kind of hurrah for this 4-year cycle. When Bitcoin dominance has a dramatic drop and we get an alt season, usually what happens is Bitcoin will peak, and then those alts that are going to run, and this is historically pre-ETFs, but historically the alts would run for another month, and then the alts would come down. But by then, Bitcoin has already like made a top, had sort of this big drop, which is sort of the warning shot, and then has done a dead cat bounce. Or in the previous cycle, we had like a double top kind of thing. But basically, if Bitcoin dominance slowing down on its rise up is not necessarily a signal that Bitcoin's in any trouble at all. It's when the chart starts to break down, and it's starting to break down around a top, that we'd be going, okay, like around sort of the end of the year. Then we'd see there's multiple things all feeding into this narrative that are telling us that, okay, now's the time for.
Let me jump in here because God knows what's going to happen, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Spectrum Internet sucks. Do not get Spectrum Internet. They're the biggest dog shit company on the planet. Ken Rose, $5 super chat. Beauty, is there likely to be downturn in the crypto market in August? Most likely, no. Mike Harton, $2 super chat for Alex. If Bitcoin dominance is it bad to hold? No. Ken Rose, as much as you send me super chats, you might as well just join my monthly chat, dude, because I drop alpha in there like literally every day. My whole chat is like making money off of it. Mike Harton's in here. He made money off Fartcoin. Look, I'm going to try and bullet through this because God knows what's going to happen. Something's happening with Ethereum, and I'm going to show you guys case by case exactly what I'm looking at on my end. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to go to multiple windows. Okay. We're going to go to this Kaito AI. So this is an aggregate of all of the conversations happening across crypto Twitter and multiple platforms. Bitcoin has consistently been at number one the entire bull market. Ethereum is now number one. This is something is happening with Ethereum. So I'm going to show you how to find all the pieces to the puzzle. Secondly, with the narrative, memes used to be consistently in second place. AI has always been number one. DeFi out of nowhere has come, and it's a whopping 20.5%. I think memes even got up to only 19% max. DeFi has consistently been holding at 20% and a half. Now, let's go quickly to the ETFs. First things first, BlackRock just came in today. BlackRock's numbers two fucking day with the ETFs. BlackRock alone, $760 million. That is one company. So that is another $1 billion day. We had back-to-back $1 billion days last week, leading up into the weekend pump, leading up to crypto week. Now, we just had 760. That is from BlackRock alone, including other companies as well. We're probably going to have another $1 billion day. However, the other companies have been sparingly buying it. If you want to follow a great Twitter account to cover all this, that is here, Huddle15 Capital. And you can see Grayscale Mini with 5 million in, Fidelity with 10 million, and then BlackRock with 764 million. So the day was 763 million with BlackRock making up the majority of it. Now, if you take a look at the history of Ethereum inflows on this, okay, I want you to take a look at this real quick because there is also data to be seen here. So this is just the 3 months, but you could see it's a very pithy amount, 70 million, right? And it's always BlackRock, as you can see, ETHA, 54 million from them, 100 million on this day, 67 million, okay, 25 million, 28, 18, 20. These are outflow days, right? It's starting to pick up here a little bit. The biggest day they had was like 250 million collectively across all ETFs. So if just real quick, I want to show you what you typically have with Bitcoin is like this. Actually, I'm just going to share the entire screen so we can click these faster. So This is typically what Bitcoin looks like. So as you can see, this is what I was prior mentioning. On the 11th of July, we had a $1 billion day. And on the 10th of July, we had a $1.2 billion day. This is the easiest weather vane, barometer, whatever you want to label this thing, to see what's happening with the markets. That's on the last 3 months. If you just go to the 12 months, we had this kind of like, this is when I was saying the bull market's over from here, where there was no inflows and everything was going bad. And I thought we were cooked because of the Trump dump on his inauguration day, the day before his inauguration. So that's where I thought things were cooked, and the data was showing it as well. We were having $1 billion outflows. But from this moment onwards, this is what made me realize from the recovery of the tariffs that there was so much strength in the market. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, we had a factor of a bunch of things happening. One, we had the tariff nonsense crashed down to 75,000. A lot of people, including myself, thought the bull market was over. Clearly, I was wrong. Happily wrong. Two, after that, we recovered. We set all-time highs approximately May 22nd, right? Which was like around 112, 111-ish. Then we had, unfortunately, Israel and Iran, the first wave, or actually, no, after that, we had Trump and Elon break up, right? Now that nuked the markets, but then they pumped back up. It was like a matter of days we pumped back up. Then the Iran and Israel war started happening, and we dumped really hard again. And then we just pumped up again. And then they started doing round 2 of their attacks and waves. And then that crashed down. And then we pumped up again. And so when I saw this continuous pumping up after being smashed down, and more importantly, guys, remember the stage is a globe. You're a fool if you believe everything you see. You have to have a little bit, like we make a joke, but you have to have like a little bit of a conspiracy theory mind to see. And during this whole time, during Iran and Israel fighting and killing each other, BlackRock was consistently buying. Okay. Now pay attention, because this is where it starts to get juicy. All right. And so real quick, I'm going to go back to sharing the entire screen. So typically here, right, we're going to click 3 months for comparison. This is, 900 million, 900 million, 400 million, 387 million. This is per day, 900 million. Okay. Look at that. And IBIT was the one that did everything on that day. Everybody sold, and IBIT bought 970 million. The IBIT is BlackRock. Look at this again, 200, 500, 600, 500, 400, right over here, almost $1 billion. Okay. This is the only thing you need to be paying attention to the real health of the market, because this is smart money. This is the smartest money on the planet. It's fucking BlackRock. Now we go here. Obviously, we're just seeing dog shit. But look at this week here. So these two little amounts, little baby amounts, right? About 100 million between these 2 days. But then we have 200 million, 383 million, 200 million, 259 million. So that's about $1 billion. Now, if you look at the whole history here, okay, that's never happened except for right around here. But these numbers weren't even that really amazing, quite frankly. And I don't know, I have, like, one of our research guys said BlackRock did 500 million in Ethereum today, but I don't have an actual source. But if that's the case, something is seriously happening with Ethereum. Now, it could be this, because this area here, like I said, right here, this is when Bitcoin dominance dropped about 10%. It started dropping here, and it flowed into Ethereum, and now everybody's getting paper. So here's the thing. For you guys holding altcoins, pay attention, because we have BlackRock data showing, we have ETF data showing, we have Ethereum now taking number 1 in token mindshare. We have DeFi as number 2 in the narrative as well. We have all of these Ethereum related coins are pumping as well. If you want to get real degenerate, this is not financial advice, but SPX6900 is kind of like the probably hottest meme on Ethereum.
A nice dramatic pause.
Right now, other than, yeah. So Bitcoin, or excuse me, Ethereum and SPX 6900 have been, kind of on par with each other, and moving almost in one with parity. So
Mm-hmm. If you pause this for 3 more seconds, Hugh, I've got an answer to your question.
that being said, when it's there we go.
Got to reset the timer. 3, 2, 1. All right, Hugh. You mentioned, are you bullish on ETH? So I just had a quick look at the chart. Basically, where we're at for Ethereum Bitcoin, the next major point of resistance for Ethereum
We're coming
is...
in and out. I don't really know. I'm
Oh,
gonna.
you jumping in, jumping out. Oh, see, and I don't know how I do this, but I can. That's pretty cool. So Ethereum should outpace Bitcoin by, if it was to go and hit the next logical point of resistance for it, that by about 12%. So a 12% outperformance of Ethereum over Bitcoin. Now, if we were to take the previous weekly cycle for Bitcoin, so that was like 120% increase. I've done it again. And it goes up again, it mirrors it. So we go from like 74,000 up by 120%. That change, if we were to, is about from here, about a 37.5% change. So if we incorporate that 12% outperformance of Ethereum, that puts the Ethereum price, all right, so once again, we're just sort of doing some napkin math here, puts the Ethereum price at approximately $4,780, which is shy of the last Ethereum all-time high. So basically, if Ethereum continues to outpace, the next major point of resistance for Ethereum puts it at, if Bitcoin moves up the same as it did the last previous weekly cycle, so over 100% from that $74,000 low, then that means you could expect Ethereum to top out at its all-time high. But for it to get above it, it's really going to have to fight. So in terms of, are we bullish on Ethereum? Well, if we're saying there's a chance it could get back to its all-time high level in the next 3-4 months, then yes. But am I that excited about it? Not particularly. It's looking good, and that's nice. Like, seeing more money flowing into crypto is definitely good.
Yeah.
Excited about that. But I'm not like jumping out, like move everything into Ethereum. No.
Definitely not. That's not what we're saying. But here's the thing, guys. Ethereum is quite the dog shit piece of tech. Okay. A lot of people are there's on it because their grandfather did. But if Ethereum goes to all-time highs, we're going to have not a crypto-wide alt season, but we're going to have a decent alt season without a shadow of a doubt. So let's talk about this, because earlier Alex was saying, we're probably not going to be able to see ETH going to, wild all-time highs. So I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because the only reason I'm saying is $1 billion just went into the Ethereum ETF for the first time it's ever happened. If the $500 million rumor that I have not been able to verify yet, if that is actually true, that is the big turning point. Because here's the thing, okay? And this is thinking total big picture, right? Total big picture in regards to fiat and how it's all a scam. All right. So today, right now, I'm looking at the data. Actually, I'll just screen share real quick to show you guys. Great website here if you guys just check this out. So on today, we have $227 million into Ethereum, and BlackRock has still not reported, right? That's ETH right here. But you can see BlackRock's numbers are insane. And then on the second one, they did a $400 million into Ethereum. They've never done that before. Okay. But BlackRock alone, $6.6 billion year to date into Ethereum. Okay. That's a lot of fucking money. This has never been happening before. That being said, if you go to compare market cap, and we just pulled this up, it's a really good website for you guys. Compare market cap, type Ethereum at the top, and then you are able to scroll down and check the ROI calculator. A lot of people are calling for $8,000 Ethereum. Probably not going to happen, because that's just crazy. That would it would have to double 500 billion, making it $1 trillion market cap. I mean, now that the institutions are buying and the bills have passed, if anything can do it, it's that. Do I think it's going to happen? I personally will officially say no. Do I think we can get past the previous all-time high? Yes, maybe 5,000 and change, 6,000 maybe. But the thing is this, if you're in any kind of altcoin, okay, you want to be rooting for Ethereum, because if Ethereum is making money, we're all fucking making money, because that's the heaviest, biggest piece of shit to move. But now we have, look, Ethereum's doing the right thing too, because going back to the fiat currency thing, it's all fucking scam, guys. They need assets to inflate in value with the fiat currency, or this whole monetary system crumbles. Bitcoin, they already have proof of concept. They ran it up. They made, they literally 3x. I mean, what the rumors started in October 23, right? With the Cointelegraph, we went from 20 something thousand, and now we're flirting with 125. And that's like in less than 2 years. That is insane to think about. And they did it with an asset with a way higher market cap. Now, I personally believe they're going to try to do it again with Ethereum because they ran Bitcoin up and we had a great one. Now they're going to do it with Ethereum. Here's another thing too. Now, if you guys don't remember this, when gold, the gold ETF, right? When the gold ETF launched, I believe it was in November of 2003. And it was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Now I want to show you exactly what happened, okay, the moment it happened. And Bitcoin has already massively outperformed it. Remember, if Bitcoin is digital gold, then Ethereum is digital silver, but way more valuable than silver on the marketplace, silver, because it's actually has a use case. So right here, excuse me, I was wrong. November 2004, not 2003. So November 2004, this is when the ETF launched, and gold went on a basically like about a year, almost a 4-year bull run. I bet you this is right. That's probably during the great financial crisis right here because it's not precise. But 2007 is here, and I would say probably so. Gold went on a 4-year bull run. 4-year bull run when the ETF launched. Bitcoin is seeing the exact same thing, and BlackRock was the one running up that fucking ETF as well. They're doing it again with Bitcoin. So I think that in order for us to go back to 75,000, that's a lot of people selling, like a lot. I don't think we're going to have the traditional bull market, bear market cycle anymore. It doesn't mathematically make sense. But I also thought the bull run is over in Q1. So who the fuck knows, right? But I just personally think looking at this now, A, they're going to do it again with Ethereum potentially. And B, I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin slow down. And if Bitcoin doesn't slow down and people start making money, what these BlackRock sales people are going to be like, hey, listen, dipshit, you fucking missed the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. But listen, we got the Ethereum ETF and you can make money on that. And that's what they do. They get these people on the phone. They pressure them into doing it. Am I reaching on that? What do you think?
Nope.
That's absolutely.
It's basically ETFs do exactly two things for any asset or currency that is behind it. The first thing is marketing, because the company selling the ETF is making money by selling it because of their fees. And the second thing is ease of access, because there's millions of people that have a bank account and that have a stock brokerage account somewhere. But and those are more people than the group of people that is technically literate enough to use a wallet on a phone. So actually the potential customer base just explodes when you put it on an ETF. And there's also the legal side with funds or professional traders that might not be allowed to just buy Bitcoin and put it on their cold wallet. They have to do everything transparently and because of compliance in some set brokerage account. So marketing and increased customer base. So whatever happened before, for example, what happened with gold, that it's a hedge against inflation or was against inflation. They increased the customer base via an ETF, and you just saw the same thing repeat on a bigger scale. And now it was exactly the same for Bitcoin, and it might happen exactly or the same with ETH. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just keep an eye on everything, guys, because there's so much happening right now. Let me check Farside one more time because if you guys want to use HODL 15 Capital, Farside Investors, it's Farside UK. They also post a lot of information regarding ETFs. Yeah, so and I'll just go really quickly down the list as well. You could just see what I'm talking about because, like I said, so there's a grayscale ETF here at the top, right? And then there's two grayscales. I guess one is the grayscale mini. ETHA is the BlackRock. ETHW is Bitwise, and then like I said, Fidelity is always number two, tailing behind 113 million alone. Like, so these numbers are, like I said, starting to look like Bitcoin days. Because, okay, so today, minus BlackRock, assuming the 500 million rumor is true, that's 720. Yesterday, 200 million. To 14, 250, 200, 383. It's no coincidence that this is a lead up to crypto week. And again, if you want to talk about corruption and everything, because listen, all these politicians are corrupt. They're all in on it. They don't care. The Democrats are just playing their part, trying to be like, oh, yeah, we're the opposition, when it doesn't make any sense. Elizabeth Warren is saying that crypto is going to crash the stock market. She can't really be that stupid. She's like a multi millionaire. She's just a piece of shit manipulating dumb women, dumb white women, because that's what she looks like, to fucking vote for their bullshit and keep the whole two-party system that's both people hate us and they all want us fucking dead while they get money and go to pedophile parties. You know, that's just exactly what's happening. So they're all in on it. So if you think about it, look at, like, let's be honest, who really runs the world? The people who control the money. Politicians are just puppets. So you're looking at that. Now, if they're buying Ethereum and BlackRock heading into this week where we're having all these major bills, and then all of a sudden it starts dumping on Monday, and then the bill doesn't get passed, and then they repass it again. Like, how many coincidences do you need to like slap you in the face before you realize it's all a controlled game? So think like the evil people. Think like them. Play their game. Don't read bullshit articles. Don't, because these idiots writing articles, these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about. Because if they did, they'd be on an island covered with money and whatever the hell they want. They wouldn't be writing articles for Cointelegraph, like whatever. So the total picture is very, very clear. But like I said, that's why you have to look at multiple pieces of data. You know, in our research team, we have an automation bot that gives us on a daily basis total crypto market cap, which is all-time high, stablecoin information, which is pumping, Bitcoin dominance, which went from 65 to like now it's like 60 and change, fear and greed index, the CBBDI, the DEXI, M2 money supply, and also the PMI. So all of these things, plus fundamental analysis, plus running it through Kaito, plus looking at news, plus looking at legislation, you have to, it's a very large kind of, like I always say, it's like a Rubik's Cube. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube that's fighting back. But you could do it, especially if a good team. And if you're subscribed to the channel and watch us, because we're so fucking good. You guys don't realize how good we are. Like, not trying to gas us up, but we have a really fucking amazing team. And if you're paying attention, you're making money. And if you're not, it's your first time around. Like, dude, we've all, I personally can vouch. I've lost millions of dollars in crypto, millions. I've made millions and I have lost millions. Okay. And it's fucking devastating, both up and down, you know? But that being said, you know, it's a way to make money. It's a skill set. And people are so drastically undereducated in this that I just can't even like wrap my head around it. There's still so much opportunity, but we are in the end game. We are in the danger zone. That's why it's getting harder to make money now. 2024, you could buy any fucking meme coin and it would pump to like $1 billion, and then you could get a 20x like nothing. We only found, I think we've only found one, right? Kita was the only like 100x we found.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't 100x. Oh, in terms of the market cap, but like, yeah, that's really for the last number of months, because
it started at 8 cents and then it went to 180.
Yeah.
So
And now it's
I think it's 100. It's not. No, it's not 100. Sorry, that's like a. But that's like a pretty. That's like a 50. No, not even. I don't know. I'm bad at math.
It was like sort of the Ethereum fart coin, but less explosive, but a bit more. Yes, pardon the pun, but a bit more reliable. But now it's kind of floundering a bit. So
22.5x. Not bad.
So like they're there, but you know, now we're looking. We got the fucking little tweezers out.
Yeah.
Going through all the shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And a big point I just wanted to repeat with this is that basically if you have the crypto media like Cointelegraph, I don't want to shit on them, but basically that's if you say the market is a person, the media reporting on the market is what the person says, and the data you get from stuff like ETF inflows is the actual action what the person does. So most people, most retail is watching or reading all those articles, watching YouTube channels that are just regurgitating the articles. And then when the institutions and the bigger players and the smart money is going to sell, they are going their cabinet pulling out the, I don't know, bull market end of year 2026 narrative, send some money to Cointelegraph and float this narrative everywhere. So if you see the narrative, if you see a positive narrative or any narrative, price is going up, price is going down, bull market now, bear market now, on any media outlets, you can take this information and then you go to some hard numbers like the ETF inflows, which we are so lucky to have them public and to have them daily. And you see if what they say is matching what they do. And if it doesn't matches, there most of the time you have the answer. So if they float, the bull market is going even crazier and ETH is going to 10K on all the media outlets, or ETH might go to 10K, expert says XYZ, and you go and check the ETF numbers, and actually momentum is going down and they're buying less and less of ETH, or they even selling in the hundreds of millions, it's time to exit the market.
Yeah.
Like I said, Q4, you got to be out the door, boys. I'm just gonna say this. That was the instinct I had last year, and then I kind of bought into the narrative, like, oh, we're gonna pump into Q1. That didn't happen. I think what's gonna happen is Bitcoin's probably gonna pull a top somewhere October, November ish. Keep an eye on the ETFs. That's the biggest indicator right there. And between now and February is like your pretty much your last opportunity to like make some money with alts. But I just want to say every day that ascends, that every day that passes by and we head towards the end of the year, the probability of you losing money goes up. Also with the probability of you making money. So keep an eye on the show. We're probably going to be no more breaks. I had to handle something last week, but like I said, we missed 1 week and there was just so much crap that happened. Alex, you want to show this?
Oh, this was just based more on what Elias was talking about. Like, if you're seeing Bitcoin on a sign, it's time to buy. It's like, what are you talking about? If you see it on a sign, it's time to fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
this is just perfect. I love this. This is exactly what you'll see. People, oh yeah, I saw Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
it's just no. They put this here because they're dumping. They're dumping.
Yeah. So keep an eye on us, guys. Listen, if you want to join my school community, talk to me about crypto, or modernlifedating.com, if you want any kind of crypto consult, I am telling you, book it now. I have turned multiple people into millionaires. So if you listen to me, you're statistically going to be able to save way more money than the consultation fee. So that being said, guys, sorry about the internet. Starlink is on the way. Never going to happen again. Never buy Spectrum. Don't buy a house in the woods. Just joking. The house in the woods is great. Just got to fix the internet. It'll be okay. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.